and actually start making the profit that they want to have. So when it comes to KPIs, I feel like agency owners typically fall into two camps. One, they track everything. When I asked to take a look at some of their data, they have spreadsheets that link to spreadsheets that link to more spreadsheets. And then I also meet with some agency owners, and they're not really tracking anything. And the thing is, both of these aren't actually helpful. We want to be tracking some data, but we want to be tracking data that actually matters. And the tricky part about all of this is the data that matters can kind of vary based on the business. It matters based on what you do, what you're monitoring, and what is most important to you. And that may fluctuate and change. So, an agency owner may be in a moment worried about utilization rate. Maybe they're struggling, their team is telling them that they're really busy, but the revenue isn't reflecting that, right? As the agency owner, you're feeling like, gosh, we should be able to handle more business than what we're seeing right now. What is going on? Why is my team so busy? So we have a KPI we want to track now, right? Like, what is the team working and spending time on? Is it client delivery? Is it a lot of administrative tasks? Are they working really inefficiently and we need to give them more training, more support? Where is that breakdown happening that our team is really busy and yet our top line revenue isn't reflective of this busyness? That's a key that this is a KPI that you should be tracking and monitoring. Now, when it gets better and we know what's going on and we fix the problem and you're good to go, do you need to keep tracking that? Maybe, maybe not. It depends on how important it is to your business. So I'll give you another example of what a KPI that could be relevant to you is maybe you have been working on a new social media campaign and you're really trying to get conversions from social media. So what's the KPI you should be tracking? Am I getting DMs? Are those DMs turning into sales calls? Are those sales calls turning into clients? Like, what type of views am I getting? What type of engagement am I getting? Can I really tie money into the business back to my social media? How long does that take? What is that looking at? Are they qualified leads? Looking and exploring through some of these questions, we can start to say, oh, now I start to see like what KPIs matter. Does your email open rate matter? Well, yeah, I mean, of course it does, but is that something you need to focus on in and of that moment? Not if you're going to be paying attention to social media, right? And really wanting to drive conversions there. So it's not that we forget about all the others, but we need to just pay attention because it's just very, very difficult, particularly for agencies in this multi six-figure early $1 million mark to just have their hands tracking everything. Like, this requires full teams of people, right? So how do you know what KPI you should be tracking? What is best for your business? Well, I would encourage you to start asking yourself questions and thinking through the process like I just did. What are our goals? What are our objectives for the year? What are we focusing on? Is it new business? Do we need more clients? Is it client retention? Sometimes it's just about retaining clients and keeping them on board. Maybe it's client satisfaction. Maybe it's reducing administrative time for your team members, and you really need to start looking at some back-end operations work. Okay, once we understand what our goal and objective is, now let's try and find some really meaningful KPIs that will help us understand if the work and activity that we are doing to accomplish and reach this goal are matching up and if they're actually proving useful or not. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of guidance, helps get you moving in the right direction and thinking about, especially we're still early in the year. There's a lot of 2026 left. We're only in February. If you haven't taken time to think about what are my goals for 2026, or at least, the next few months, what are we focused on? Do we have systems and processes in place to track and manage to see, are we moving the needle towards those goals? Is what we're doing making an impact at all? Be thinking about that. If you need some support, go ahead and shoot me a DM. I'm happy to have that conversation with you and help you figure that out. So feel free to hit me there, or you can even drop a comment below and I'll be checking on those later.